Discovering one skull is spooky. Discovering 2 skulls is scary. Discovering 15 skulls? Well, that's downright, dare we say, bone-chilling. So spare a thought for the group of archaeologists who stumbled upon a heap of shattered skulls and jawbones, the remains of at least 15 individuals, while excavating the Neolithic village of Masseria Candelaro in what's now Puglia, Italy. The bones were found inside a prehistoric structure ominously dubbed Structure Q. But this wasn't some ancient graveyard. These bones weren't placed there as part of some final ritual. They had already served their purpose in a long-forgotten ceremony before being discarded, like old rusty tools that had outlived their use. Life thousands of years ago wasn't always gentle, and death? It had its own strangely unsettling customs. So today we're talking about 15 archaeologists who were digging and found something they weren't expecting, something a little eerie. Let's start off with number 15, Herculaneum Scrolls. The Herculaneum Scrolls have been making waves in the archaeology world lately, and for good reason. These texts, part of an ancient Roman library, were buried under 60 feet of volcanic ash when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. While Pompeii is famous for its eerie preservation of daily Roman life, Herculaneum holds something just as valuable, a hidden intellectual legacy. The scrolls remained untouched for nearly 2,000 years, too fragile to be unrolled without turning to dust. For centuries, they were considered unreadable. Then, technology changed everything. Using AI and high-resolution imaging, researchers have finally started deciphering the texts without ever opening them. Last year, some of the first passages were translated, revealing lost works of Roman literature, philosophy, and even early Jewish texts. The biggest mystery? What else is still hidden inside these carbonized scrolls? If technology advances, they could unlock an entirely new understanding of the ancient world. Number 14, the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is one of the greatest archaeological finds ever. In 1799, a French soldier stumbled upon this granite slab during Napoleon's Egypt campaign, unknowingly unlocking the secrets of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. What makes this so legendary? The inscription is written in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphic. Since scholars already understood Greek, they finally had a key to decipher the mysterious symbols of ancient Egypt. The real breakthrough came in 1822 when Jean-François Champollion cracked the code, allowing us to read hieroglyphs for the first time in over 1,500 years. This wasn't just about language, it opened up an entire civilization's history. Thanks to the stone, we now understand Egyptian religion, culture, and governance in once impossible ways. Today, it's housed in the British Museum, where it remains one of the most important artifacts ever found. Without it, ancient Egypt would still be a mystery. Number 13, the Shroud of Turin. Arguably the most controversial artifact in history, the Shroud of Turin is either a sacred relic or one of the greatest hoaxes ever. This 14-foot-long cloth bears the faint image of a man who appears to have been crucified, leading many to believe it's the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. Kept in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, it's been the subject of debate for centuries. Some swear the image was formed by a miraculous energy burst during resurrection. Others think it's a medieval forgery. Carbon dating from the 1980s suggested it was from the 14th century, but critics argue the test may have been contaminated. Despite endless studies, scientists still can't fully explain how the image was created. Whether it's an ancient holy relic or a brilliant medieval mystery, the Shroud of Turin remains one of archaeology's biggest enigmas. Number 12, the La Brea Tar Pits. In the middle of LA, prehistoric life has been preserved for over 50,000 years, thanks to the La Brea Tar Pits. These sticky, bubbling pools of natural asphalt have trapped thousands of animals, creating one of the richest Ice Age fossil sites on Earth. The fossils include mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths, and dire wolves. The thick tar acted like prehistoric quicksand, luring animals in as they tried to drink water, only to get stuck forever. Even ancient insects, plants, and microfossils have been found, helping scientists reconstruct what Ice Age California looked like. Excavations are still ongoing, with new fossils being unearthed every year. The La Brea tar pits aren't just a snapshot of the past. They're a constantly evolving window into a lost world. And to think, all this prehistoric history is hiding right in the middle of a modern city. Number 11. Uluburun Shipwreck. Now let's talk about one of the most jaw-dropping shipwrecks ever found, the Uluburun Shipwreck. Off the coast of Turkey, divers exploring the seabed in 1982 came across something extraordinary, a 3,300-year-old trading vessel. The ship, believed to have sunk around 1300 BCE, wasn't just carrying a few trinkets. It was stacked with gold jewelry, ceremonial axes, ivory, tin ingots, glass beads, and a massive cargo of resin for perfume. This wasn't just a trade vessel, it was a floating Bronze Age marketplace. What's truly fascinating is what the wreck reveals about ancient civilizations. The cargo came from Egypt, Mesopotamia, Anatolia, Cyprus, and even the Baltic Sea, proving that cultures back then were way more connected than we might assume. This ship didn't just transport goods, it carried evidence of a global trade network long before the Silk Road even existed. Beyond the treasure, the wreck gives us insight into ancient sailing technology and trade routes. It wasn't just a lost ship, it was a lost chapter of history. Number 10. The Nebra Sky Disk. The Nebra Sky Disk is a 3,600-year-old artifact that rewrote everything we thought we knew about Bronze Age astronomy. Unearthed in 1999 in Germany, this small bronze disk features gold symbols of the sun, moon, and stars, possibly the oldest known depiction of the cosmos. It's believed to have been an ancient astronomical tool used to track the seasons, navigate, or even mark religious ceremonies. The gold cluster on the disk is thought to represent the Pleiades star cluster, a group of stars still significant in mythology today. What makes this find so mind-blowing? It proves that people thousands of years ago weren't just looking at the sky in awe, they were actively studying it. This level of understanding suggests early civilizations had a far more advanced grasp of astronomy than we ever imagined. The Nebra Sky Disk has completely changed how we see prehistoric Europe. Turns out, the Bronze Age wasn't so primitive after all. Number 9. The Bog Bodies of Denmark. Imagine walking through a marsh, only to stumble over a perfectly preserved body from 2,000 years ago. Well, that's the case with this find. Thanks to the oxygen-poor, acidic waters of bogs, these ancient remains have been shockingly well preserved, skin, hair, and even internal organs intact. Some still have facial expressions, like Tolland Man, found in 1950, who looks like he just fell asleep. Many bog bodies date back to the Iron Age, and their deaths weren't exactly natural. Signs of strangulation, stab wounds, and blunt force trauma suggest these were ritual sacrifices or executions. Theories range from offerings to gods to punishments for crimes. These remains provide an eerie, detailed look into ancient life. We can analyze their last meals and reconstruct their faces. It's like a forensic crime scene, except it's been frozen in time for thousands of years. Number 8. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's talk about a classic, the Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a young shepherd just trying to find a lost goat stumbled upon a cave holding some of the most important manuscripts of the 20th century. These ancient texts date back as far as the 3rd century BCE and include fragments of the Hebrew Bible along with other religious writings. But what makes this discovery so mind-blowing isn't just that these fragile texts have survived for over 2,000 years. It's the mystery surrounding how they were hidden and preserved. Most researchers believe the Essenes, a Jewish religious group, stashed them away to protect their knowledge from Roman invaders. Over time, scholars have painstakingly pieced them together, revealing insights into early Judaism and the origins of Christianity. But here's the shocker. Not all of them have been deciphered. Some remain in such delicate fragments that only a select few scholars have ever had access. Could they contain long-lost religious texts that never made it into the Bible? Number 7. The Vinca civilization. Long before Rome, before Egypt even built its Great Pyramids, there was the Vinca civilization. Flourishing 6,000 years ago in what is now Serbia, this culture was one of Europe's first major societies. The Vinca people built complex settlements, mastered pottery, and even worked with metal, long before anyone else in the region. But what makes them great is their mysterious system of symbols is often called the Vinca script. Some researchers believe it might be one of the earliest forms of writing, predating even Mesopotamian cuneiform. These symbols appear on pottery, figurines, and tools, but no one has fully cracked them yet. Were they a language? A counting system? That's still up for debate. One thing's for sure, the Vinca civilization was far ahead of its time, and we're just beginning to understand its influence on early European history. Number 6. Lascaux cave paintings. Now let's go way back to 17,000 years ago. That's when early humans left behind some of the most stunning prehistoric artwork ever found, the Lascaux cave paintings. In 1940, a group of teenagers exploring caves in France stumbled upon something jaw-dropping, hundreds of detailed, lifelike depictions of animals. These weren't just stick figures. We're talking realistic images of horses, bison, and deer, painted with precision and skill that totally reshaped how we think about early humans. So why did our ancestors create them? No one knows for sure. Some believe they were part of hunting rituals meant to bring good fortune. Others think they were early storytelling, religious symbols, or even a way of teaching. Sadly, modern exposure has damaged the fragile artwork, leading to the cave's closure in 1963. This cave is forbidden, so you can't visit. But replicas let people experience one of humanity's oldest artistic achievements. Number 5. A pit of amputated arms. In a chilling glimpse into the past, archaeologists working in France uncovered a 6,000-year-old pit containing 7 severed arms, brutally hacked off and thrown into a mass grave. The victims were believed to be farmers, including one child, whose limbs were removed before their bodies were buried. But the horror didn't stop there. Dozens of fully intact bodies were stacked on top, their skulls crushed in. What happened here? No one knows for sure, but the scene suggests a violent massacre. Researchers theorize that losing only an arm might have been a twisted mark of status, sparing some victims from total annihilation. Theories abound. Was this ritualistic? A brutal punishment? A warning to others? What's clear is that life in 4000 BC wasn't just about survival, it was about power, conquest, and terrifying brutality. And this isn't the only pit like it. Number 4. Hundreds of babies in an Irish care home. The Bon Secours mother and baby home in Tuam, Ireland, was supposed to be a safe place for unwed mothers and their newborns. In reality, it was a place of neglect, cruelty, and hidden horrors. For decades, poor conditions and disease ran rampant in these church-run homes. Many infants died and were buried in unmarked graves. Historian Catherine Corliss uncovered shocking records, revealing that up to 800 children had died at the Tuam home alone. Her research led to an official investigation, and in 2017, excavation teams confirmed the presence of mass graves. The full scale of what happened remains unclear. More excavations are planned, but one thing is certain: this wasn't an isolated case. Across Ireland, similar institutions operated under a veil of secrecy, leaving behind a tragic legacy that the country is still reckoning with today. Number 3. 2,000-year-old infant skulls used as helmets. In Salango, Ecuador, archaeologists made a discovery that sounds straight out of a horror movie: the remains of infants wearing helmets made from other children's skulls. Dating back to around 100 BCE, these burial mounds belong to the Guangala culture. No one knows exactly why these skull helmets were placed on babies, but the most likely theory is that they were meant to shield and protect them in the afterlife. Some believe it was a form of spiritual armor, a desperate attempt to safeguard these souls in the next world. The practice is unlike anything seen before. Were these ritual sacrifices a reaction to disease or disaster? We don't know for sure, but what's clear is that this wasn't random. What kind of crazy dudes they were. Number 2. Magical nails to trap spirits of the dead. Buried deep in an ancient Roman cemetery in Turkey, archaeologists unearthed a grave surrounded by bent nails, bricks, and lime. This wasn't just any burial. This was a grave meant to trap a spirit. The twisted iron nails were deliberately placed to prevent the deceased from rising from the dead or haunting the living. Romans believed some souls, especially those who died violently or without proper burial rites, could become restless spirits. This grave suggests someone was terrified of what might come back. Was this a feared criminal? A suspected witch? A victim of a mysterious death? We may never know, but the message was clear: stay in the ground. The eerie discovery adds to the growing evidence that the ancient world took ghosts and curses very seriously. This fear isn't just modern folklore. It's been haunting us for thousands of years. Number 1. The Aztec Tower of Skulls. Beneath Mexico City, archaeologists uncovered a site so macabre that it even shocked the Spanish conquerors. A tower made entirely of human skulls. The Huitzompantli, or Great Skull Rack, contained over 600 human skulls, meticulously arranged and stacked in honor of the gods of war and rain. But what made this even more disturbing? These weren't just the skulls of warriors, there were women and children too. The discovery suggests the Aztecs' sacrificial rituals were far more complex than previously thought. These individuals weren't just offerings, they were made sacred, transformed into symbols of divine power. Some were possibly captives, while others may have been chosen for sacrifice. The Aztecs believed these skulls sustained the universe, feeding the gods to ensure balance and survival. To them, this wasn't horror. It was necessary. To us, it's an eerie reminder of how different civilizations saw life, death, and the afterlife. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.